Anytime you want to go.
And all right, well, basically this one right here, this wind turbine right here is one made from by a fellow in Martinsville, Virginia, Pope David, and it's a 480 watt. I'm trying to think of, it's a Pittman motor in there that's been utilized as a alternator, as a generator, and it works really, really well. It turns very easily in a low wind, as you can see. In a comparison with the others, it's already started up, where the others will pick up.
Where's
Yep.
my mom?
Been rebuilt by a California company, and it was one pretty much like Missouri Wind and Solar was selling those originally too, the rebuilt alternator ones at first, but they've gone to their own design now, where they're actually making a generator like the third one over there. Anyway, but it's a 1600 watt one, and so it took a little bit more of a spin to actually turn it. So I modified some blades with some PVC, and it turns a whole lot easier now. The turbine, I was lowering it, and I had a fellow helping me lower it, and he let go of the rope, and so it slammed into the ground and it bent the hub. So I bought another hub and did it. But as you can see, we get very good wind. The reason that they're in line like this is because our wind always comes from the west and from the north. And so this works out really, really well as far as getting most out of the wind. And these first two, they go to the battery bank. The third one is the one I want from Missouri Wind and Solar. It's hooked to a grid tie inverter, and it really hums along too. It really goes well. Solar panels here now. I've got two of them hooked up, and it's on a what you call a passive solar tracker, meaning that you turn it yourself into the sun, and you can improve your the amount of power that you get by 65% by being able to track the wind as opposed to leaving it in one direction. Because if the sun comes across and you have it like only facing south, once the sun gets past that prime point or that optimal point, then you have less electricity. Well, the sun rises over here in the east, and these solar trackers, what I can do is I take this bar right here, I'll set it this evening, and tomorrow morning when the sun comes up, this will be getting light and everything. I came up with this idea by watching a whole bunch of YouTube videos, and I didn't see anything like this at all. I saw everything from people having them hooked to a board and moving the board around and everything, and I was going like, I can come up with something better than that. So I got the iron bar, conduit pipe, and started using that, and it worked out really well. Like that this pipe right here, and the fittings alone are rated for 280 pounds, and this in no way weighs 280 pounds, and that one's rated for like 580 pounds, something like that. But we've had some really good wind up here, and it doesn't affect these at all. It's really sturdy. And I took the steel conduit pipe, buried it up, put a piece of metal down on the bottom for this to sit on and pivot on, so that it doesn't dig into the ground, and you don't want to put it on, you don't want to use concrete or anything like that underneath it, because this would eventually wear it out. So I had a metal plate on the bottom for this to pivot on, and it turns, as you saw earlier, it turns very easily. But this way I can track the sun pretty well. I've done solar stuff in the past and did really well with it. But I bought this panel here from Walmart, and it was and it's an 18 watt Coleman camp one, and we have a teepee that we have set up, and that's what this setup here is. Although I've got it tied in to my system now, it originally is for the teepee so we can watch DVDs and stuff down there when we're camping out. Right now I'm charging up a lawnmower battery on these two. Each one of those are 5 watts, I think. So it's got 10 watts there. I originally bought that for the solar tracker. I was going to build an active solar tracker, and the principle of the active solar tracker was that if you laid it out in this direction, if you laid it out like this, I've even got the frame built for it and the thing built in the shed. But what happens is, see, this side right here gets the sun, and so it goes and it points to the sun. But when I bought these, I didn't realize that these don't have enough power in them to even turn a motor slowly. They don't have enough power to do anything, you know. And that was a mishap from something I saw on YouTube. The motor that they were using was a printer motor out of a computer printer, and so, you know, it turned. But anything that would turn these right here is going to need some juice. It's going to have something. Those little solar panels wouldn't do it. I got a lot of information from Missouri Wind and Solar, though, like to run everything into a box, you know, and then into the house. I went with battery cable. I've wired all my solar panels. They all come together to the box, and then it has battery cable that goes into my battery bank through the house, and it's done in conduit. I put the conduit up on that too in the yard. There's just a pole laying right there, but you can see the buried line, and right through here. To protect the wire that I've got running to the house, and everything comes in and goes into the bedroom. I went with putting it in the house because the cold and the heat will affect your battery. It'll affect your battery life. It'll affect the ability to charge. Wind turbines. They're I like it though. Our bill this last winter, my brother's power bill, like in January and February, was running $500 and $550. They heat with electric. We heat with electric too. Unfortunately, this year it won't be happening. It won't be happening next winter. But in our bill we thought was really high, but it came to $250. But we were using the wind and solar this winter, and our bills wound up being half of what everybody else's was. And that's counting neighbors and family and everything else. So it's paying for itself. We're going to be totally sufficient by this winter, though. We're going to be ready because we've already done a solar, wind and solar air conditioner, which works like a charm. It really works good. I used a thermal heat exchange by burying the drain pipe. I got 100-foot of drain pipe and buried it up, and I'm letting the ground cools it, and it's underneath the trailer in the shade and then buried, so that, you know, the ground around it's 57 degrees, a constant 57 degrees. And I used a bilge pump fan. I bought 3 of them so I'd have backups. One's going to be for my solar heater this winter. And yeah, that's basically it. You'd have to see the battery bank and stuff on the inside.